Hi, I'm Ed Bellina.
Hello, guys. Alvaro Cuba here.
Well, welcome to just another of the ever exciting and invigorating manufacturing meetup podcast. This is a show where we kick back in our downtime, talk about efficiencies on the shop floor, and Alvaro and I dip into our endless well of stories from the shop floor. It's almost like from the other side.
I love your
Anyway,
introduction.
that's
So
my intro.
energetic. Yeah, love it. How about the hat?
So the hat, again, part of our custom here, right? I am wearing, it's cold, folks. I am in North Carolina, but it's chilly here. And I hear there are iguanas dropping out of palm trees all over Florida. So I
Yeah, I
wore
had to
my
get
little
out my
beanie to keep
winter
me warm.
gear.
And, it must be about 78 degrees in Florida. So, Alvaro, you can tell us why you're wearing yours, but that's why I'm wearing mine, because I'm cold. I also
Uh,
wear this during hunting season.
that's great. No, I'm using this. Well, 60 degrees in Florida is freezing. So I have to get my gear. And I love this one. And I had it for a long time because the very first time I got to work in the US, the very, very first time, I flew overnight. I landed in New Jersey, went straight to an all-day meeting with the team, and when we finished at 5:30, they said, "Okay, everyone to the bus." To the bus, what? Driving to see the Yankees in the Yankee Stadium in the booth
Oh,
and see a full baseball game in the Yankee Stadium. So I bought this there and I have kept it because it's a fantastic story of my very first day working in the US, my very first day in the Yankee Stadium.
that is a very cool story. I thought you were going to tell me you wound up in New York City and you were freezing and you had to get a hat just to keep your ears from falling off.
It was I was getting freeze, but more interesting than that, I got to see the
The
Yankees.
Yankees play.
Yeah,
No, that's definitely a bucket list item.
it is.
Well, awesome, folks. We're going to talk something a little different. We're going to talk about career transitions. So, as you wind up in an organization and you start growing, your skill set and your impact, you will reach these transition points where perhaps you go from shop floor to first level, or department manager to group manager. We're going to talk a little bit about those transitions, and then also a little bit about what if you don't want to go that route? What if you really don't want to manage people? Let's
Yeah.
hope you're not antisocial, but usually that's not the case.
Yeah.
It's you are deeply technical and you want to pursue something different. We're going to talk
Yeah.
about that.
Yeah.
Alvaro?
I love this topic because it's about development, it's about training, it's about building leaders. And you can do that because you are being promoted to a supervisor. You can do that because you want to get better and grow. It really doesn't matter. It's about growing personally, contributing, getting, building your careers. So that's why I love this topic. But before we start, hit the subscribe button at the bottom of your screen. You don't lose these conversations. And also, you can share it with your peers and we can grow this meetup. So let's go.
Let's do it. Great team. So thanks for joining us. And again, don't forget, hit that subscribe button. I'm going to try and figure out exactly where I have to point to make it look like I'm hitting the
Lower,
button.
lower.
Lower, much lower.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Right down there, kind of. All right. So, as promised, we're going to talk a little bit about career transitions. And one of the first ones that most people tackle is that of moving from an individual contributor to starting to manage folks, right? And it is a challenging transition no matter what. And you'll face that through your career, right? If you're amongst a group of vice presidents and you wind up and they're your peers, and you end up being promoted to the senior vice president, the same challenges apply as if you were a shop floor mechanic that gets promoted into a maintenance supervisor role. And so the challenges are very, very similar. But where I've seen, where it can be a little bit extreme is when you have a person who's been a really, really great mechanic, right? Or I'll say an hourly employee, right? Shop floor, and they're excellent at what they do. And then they get the opportunity to move into management ranks, right? And grow their career. And let me tell you, there's a lot of obstacles that you have to jump through to make that happen, because in many cases that person is also making a significant amount of money because they're working a lot of overtime, right? So the overtime inflates their pay, and when I've seen cases where these folks are moving into management and taking a pay cut, because of course in management you don't get paid an hourly rate or overtime. So got to get the financial piece right to even get people to take that. But now they're facing a situation where the buddies that they were having coffee with in the break area and lamenting about management, now all of a sudden you are one of them. And managing that interaction can be really, really funny, and makes and becomes even more complicated if you have a union environment. Now, the days of truly, truly adversarial relationships between management and union have gone by the wayside, because we realize that if we don't work together, we sink together, right? But there's still that kind of us versus them mentality. And sometimes, I've seen a case where one of my toughest chief shop stewards was also an amazing electrician, and I wound up promoting him into management, which he became a senior manager, had a great run with the company. But at first, I was like, "Oh, now you get to sit on the other side of this and see how this thing works." And it makes for really, really, comical conversations. But it is a tough transition to make. And one of the toughest challenges is, where do you draw the line, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Because you have relationships, right? That this might be the person that you played on the softball team on, right? But now you are in a supervisory relationship with them, and now you got to assess their performance, provide balanced feedback, right? Right, performance reviews, and I got to tell you, if you don't make the transition, right, from buddy to leader of that group, you will not be successful. Now you have to be honest, and you have to have open conversations with your buddies and friends, and say, "Hey, look, our relationship outside of work is that. The relationship in here is a different story." And a quick microcosm of that, I faced that in my business in OpEx, because my son is my general manager and he works for me. And at one point in time, the other son was here too. And when we're in the shop, it's
Lucky
not.
son or poor son?
It depends. It depends on the day. But I even do it with my grandson. I'm teaching him, like, he'll come in the shop and you guys have seen, he cleans toilets and stuff. And I tell him, in here, I am not abuelo. Okay. I'm here. I'm the president of this company. I'm the guy that pays your salary. So yeah. Again, it's a challenge, right? And some people can make it and get the benefit of the reputation and relationships that they built on the shop floor, right? That
Yeah.
goes a long way, but you've got to really make that and make it open, right? So people know where you're coming from, because it's challenging.
Yeah. Uh, I agree with you. But the first thing that I would say is, if you are in this situation, well, congratulations.
Yeah,
No, it means you have great skills, or you have great experience, or you have great personal leadership. And then you are being promoted. The second thing is, you have a big advantage. You coming from the floor, so you know
right.
exactly what is happening there. You know exactly what to do, how things are done. That's a big advantage for you. And the third is also a big opportunity because as you have worked there, you have seen the opportunities to get the line more efficient, opportunities to get the team in a better position, opportunities to increase production. Several things that now, in the position you are, you can influence. So
Absolutely.
those are all things that play to your favor. On the flip side, or not the flip side, but two or three just tips when you go up. No, your goal, especially in the first months to a year, you need to build rapport. No, as Ed was saying, it's different to be buddy than to be the supervisor. So you have to build rapport, and you have to get the credibility as the boss. And for that, just few things. One, never stop listening. The fact that now you are a supervisor doesn't mean that you know everything. The second is be fair. No, always be fair.
Yeah.
The abusive times of the bosses are long, long gone. No, this is and Ed used a great word, collaboration. It's between the union and the people that work, the management, but it's also between boss and team, because everyone understands that this is a collaboration. Third, the why. No, you heard us talking many times about what's in it for me. So when you explain the why and the other person gets it, it's not about you are the supervisor and I'm the operator. It's about it makes sense. It's for the better of all of us. No, and stay connected. No, I had both experiences. When I just started my career, I went from outside to be a supervisor. And during my career, I had times that I was promoted from within.
Right.
In both cases, applies the same tips. No? In the case that you are promoted from within, you have those opportunities that you know the opportunities, you know the work, you know the people. So you can get a lot. And remember, always keep the balance between results are needed and are good for everyone, but we need to protect the team as well at all the time, because they are the ones who make the things happen in the floor. You know, so guys, keep training yourselves and trust the floor. Embrace the floor. No, it's a team. No, you can
Alvaro,
help them. So go ahead.
Yeah, no, that's a great point. And something you said, I want to poke out a little bit more, because I was going to say, here's one thing that you need, number one mistake, but number 1.2 mistake a lot of folks make, thinking that you have to that you have to know everything because now you're a supervisor, right? And you have to use the strength and the knowledge, right, to network, to ask questions, to I had a sales guy that told me it's all about just being a good dummy sometimes. Just be a good dummy. Just listen to what people are telling you.
Yeah, totally true.
Because it really makes a big, big difference. And oh, by the way, on the humor side, if you came from the floor, you probably know where some of the bodies are buried. Okay, this is not the time to start divulging every little secret and who said what about the plant manager. I'm joking. People don't do that, but be forewarned. Don't bring out the dirty laundry, folks. Okay.
Okay.
You got
time to
inside
change
knowledge.
The topic.
Of course, yes.
Okay, so we want to touch the flip side of this topic, no? Because not everyone wants to have to manage a team.
Right.
There are a lot of folks that really enjoy what they are doing. And so you don't need to be promoted to grow. You don't need to be promoted to improve your knowledge, to improve your experience, to improve your personal leadership, to improve your influence. No,
Right.
those are things that you can do without being promoted. And I have seen many, many cases where technical jobs, operator jobs or mechanical jobs, pay better than supervisor roles, no, or are hugely respected. No, the brewer master, for
Right.
instance, in the breweries, or the cracking in the oil industry, the cracking expert, no, or the champions in the TPM world. All the champions are really really respected, and you get pride, image. You have time to learn, fulfillment. So there are many things, and the other important perspective is, and we were discussing this with Ed this morning, exchange a couple of emails, is the world is changing. There is, a huge gap in labor, and at the same time, there is automation and AI coming. So what that is making is to narrow the organizations, to flatten the organizations. No, in a full TPM organization, you have the plant manager, you have the technical guys, and then you have the shop floor, the operators, and
Yep.
they are their own supervisors. So in that world, every one of us, everyone has to continue to train and continue to grow and continue to develop. No, so what do you think, Ed?
It AI, and I'm not going to call it AI, just this whole information revolution that has happened over the last 30, 40 years. One thing it's done, it's democratized decision making, right? Because it's putting, one of the reasons you needed all these levels, right, is because certain data could only be accessed by certain people, and some people grew kingdoms by doing that,
Yeah,
right? And preventing others from accessing the data. Oh, I'm the only one that could be the steward. Now, data is being democratized to the point where you don't need all those levels. You don't need all those, bottle gaps, frankly, to some degree. But I'm passionate about this topic because there are a number of people that I know that are really, really capable, have a lot of leadership ability, deep technical skills, and want absolutely nothing to do with managing people.
yeah,
Okay. It's not their cup of tea. They don't want to deal with that, but they have so much to contribute. And the good news, folks, is our need for technical capability is only continuing to mushroom, right?
it's
When you
huge.
bring,
The,
yeah,
the, the, the
right, Alvaro,
gap
you bring
now,
AI in,
no, they are talking about 5 million positions gap. No, 500,000 now,
half a
and
million.
it will grow to 2.5 million. So
Yeah.
it's a huge gap on people, technical, trade. So all that
Yeah.
it will continue to be needed, and the more skilled you are, the better position you are going to be.
Yeah, that article and that I shared with you on Ford CEO and a couple of other industrialists saying, "Hey, folks, China is rushing ahead of us when it comes to this manufacturing capability, and we're sitting around trying to find 500,000 jobs today. We start
Yeah,
insourcing, right? That problem becomes even larger.
they don't
But
have people problems.
but plenty. Certain different people problems, but not the number, that's for sure. I have a little story to tell on this one. When I was plant manager in Denver, we had we had two folks that were very, very capable. One in as a mechanic, if you will. The other one is electrician and controls. And we created a role for them, right? Because they were at the top of the technician scale, but they were running projects. So we made master electrician, master mechanic,
Yeah,
that also retained them. The person that took the master electrician role in time came out of the organization, started working for engineering, led projects, led production initiatives, and he retired last year. and had a phenomenal run, right? And he started as an electrician in this facility. So these
Yeah.
stories are everywhere, folks, and we
I,
need
I, I
more and
have
more people to do that.
I have one example when we had the first we started the TPM run in North America, and we went to the first plant and we said, okay, this is going to be the model plant, and then a model plant starts with the model line. And we said, okay, who wants to come to the model line? And initially it was, no, we don't need that. It doesn't work. We know everything.
Yeah,
And it was hard to convince a group of people to come and be part of the model line. Finally, we got the people, and then they started, and they got trained in personal leadership and technical, and they start putting all these things. And by 6 years, 6 months, and in a year, it was obvious that the line was running much better than the other lines,
absolutely.
better quality of work, better results, a lot of things. And
Probably
then
less turnover too. People stick
zero
around.
in that line
Wow.
because they were ahead. No, the other lines start coming and complaining. Hey, why I have to work so hard and so much?
Yeah. How about
Well, they
us?
are in the model line, so you jump into the model line. Well, at that time, when the rest of the plant said, "Okay, we are ready, let's do the rollout," those guys became the
Yep.
champions.
Absolutely.
No, and those guys travel. Those guys, I remember this lady, the safety, the one that became a safety champion. She was doing videos. She was consulted by everyone. Then she was she grew so much. She became well known to everyone. Everyone that came to visit the plant wanted to talk to
To
her.
say,
And then at some point, she told us, this is not only helping me here. In my
right.
house, I'm applying all this, and now I'm the safety leader in my community.
How cool is that?
So how much she grew just by going technical. So it's great opportunities, and probably the last thing I'll say is for every one of us, never stop learning, never
Absolutely.
stop being curious about the new things and going after. And now with all the technology coming and all the opportunities, go take advantage of it, folks.
And just for clarity, the person I was talking about, it wasn't that he was a bad people. He was a phenomenal person, and he eventually started leading work in teams. And that's the other thing. Let's say you go the technical route because that's really what you want to do and grow in that. I've seen some of these folks as they get exposed, right, to different opportunities and maybe they get to lead a project. All of a sudden, they start engaging more. They start leading teams, and leading teams to supervising is a short step. So,
Yeah.
um, people expand, right? And before you know it, they're running a major project where they've got 10 people that are reporting to them, maybe not in, the org chart, but functionally. So fun stuff.
Well,
So
it was a great discussion, amigo.
as
A couple,
always,
as always, and a pleasure. Couple. You want to start the wrap up?
yeah, yeah. So we'll try and just give you three key points each of us. And here go mine. Okay. First of all, if you just got promoted, it is stressful. It can be very frightening. But look at it this way. You've already gotten a seal of approval from your organization. They think you're doing something right. Okay. Nobody expects you to turn the ship around in 2 months. Okay. Well, maybe 12 weeks. No, people are going to give you time, right? People recognize you are learning too. And your personal contribution will just continue to skyrocket as you get more and more of your job under your belt. Um, and something somebody told me a long time ago that resonated with me and still does today. If you want to get promoted, start acting like you have the job already. Okay. If you're a senior director and you want to be promoted to be a vice president, start acting like you are a vice president. Okay.
Yeah.
Demonstrate the capability. If you want to go to the next technician rank, start acting at that level, right? Because that's the surest way for you to be able to get the job. Um, and never ever forget about your people, right? Because they are the key to enterprise success, to your personal success, and it's just the right thing to do, right? To have a good environment, and an empowered and turned on team. So, this
Great.
applies to hourly, to supervisors, to directors, to vice presidents. It's just people.
And I would say lead, guys. No, so the title doesn't matter. Influence is what matters. You can lead from a personal leadership. You can lead from you don't need the title. Uh, the best example I have is peer-to-peer safety. It's the best
Yes.
ever in safety. And how it works? Because I supervise you, you supervise me, the other supervise us, and we do peer-to-peer, and that's what the magic happens. No, so technical expertise and personal leadership is so powerful and makes your life easier. And the things happen in the floor. So once you have all that, just make it happen.
Another plea to senior leadership. Okay, there isn't a senior leader that I haven't heard say, we need to get our supervisors on the floor. Why aren't they on the floor? And then 2 weeks later comes another raft of bureaucratic paperwork we're having them fill out. And we wonder why the supervisors are spending 80% of the time in the office on a computer. Folks, we don't need that anymore, okay? There are amazing technologies to automate data input, whether it's voice I mean, there's so much out there. Take the administrative burden off of your front line, okay? You
Yeah.
want them to be out on the floor? Give them a chance to win.
And if you do that, you will have the time to develop yourself and develop others. Great. So, as after this fun episode, we would like to just wrap up. And it has been a pleasure to be with you, friends, as always. Please, thank you for all what you participate. Tell your pals. Let's make this growth. If you enjoyed it, follow, subscribe. If you are listening in YouTube, just like us or give us a review if you are listening in iTunes. And great having you.
Fantastic. So, if you want to keep the conversation going, you can email us at mmu@augury.com. We'll also have links in the show notes. So, we'll definitely see you next time. And for God's sakes, if you're in Florida, watch out for those falling iguanas. All right, that's no joke, dude. They weigh like 30 pounds. That thing hits you in the head like a linebacker. So,
We are
stay
very
safe,
worried staying warm.
stay warm. It's cold out there. Take
Thank
care,
you,
team.
guys. A pleasure as always.